The lights of the studio burned bright, cameras focused, and millions of Americans leaned closer to their televisions. It wasn't just another panel debate. It was a rare live broadcast featuring former President Barack Obama himself. The audience buzzed with anticipation. When Obama spoke, the nation listened, and tonight, he was ready to make his point. Seated across from him were rising political stars, including Senator JD Vance, the young conservative whose sharp words and no-nonsense style had already made him a favorite among Trump loyalists. The network billed the night as a national conversation, but everyone knew sparks were about to fly. The moderator turned to Obama with the question that ignited the fire. "Mr. President, what do you think about Donald Trump's continued influence in American politics?" Obama leaned forward, his voice measured but edged with frustration. "Donald Trump represents a failure of leadership. He thrived on division, on anger, and on fear. And every time he speaks, our democracy pays the price. We cannot keep elevating a man who has shown no respect for the very institutions that hold this nation together." The audience erupted in applause, some even standing. Obama, polished as ever, delivered the criticism with the gravitas only a former president could command. His words hung in the air, heavy and deliberate. For a moment, it seemed like the verdict was final. Trump condemned, his supporters silenced. But then the camera shifted to JD Vance. Calm, hands folded on the table, his expression revealed no sign of being rattled. He waited for the cheers to fade, leaned toward the microphone, and spoke with a quiet authority that cut sharper than a shout. "President Obama," Vance began, his tone respectful but firm. "You talk about leadership, but let's be honest, your version of leadership left millions of Americans behind. Families in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in rural America, they didn't see hope in your 8 years. They saw factories close, jobs disappear, and communities collapse. You gave speeches about unity while they lost everything. Donald Trump may not speak like you do, but he listened to them. He fought for them. And that's why they trust him more than they ever trusted you." The studio went silent. Even Obama blinked, caught off guard by the directness of the rebuke. The crowd, split between supporters, shifted uneasily. And then, almost like a spark catching dry wood, a section of the audience broke into applause, first scattered, then thunderous. Vance didn't stop there. He leaned in closer, his voice unwavering. "You call him divisive, but maybe what really divides this country is the distance between polished words and lived reality. You gave America hope in speeches. He gave them a paycheck. And when it comes down to it, most families will take dinner on the table over a perfect soundbite." The moment was electric. The moderator shifted nervously, unsure whether to cut in. Obama, visibly tense, offered a tight smile but didn't immediately respond. For the first time in the evening, it was JD Vance who held the room, not the former president. Clips of the exchange went viral within minutes. Headlines screamed, "JD Vance shuts down Obama in stunning live TV moment," and "Obama slam backfires as Vance strikes with brutal reality check." Social media lit up, with ordinary Americans replaying the clip again and again, sharing it with captions like, "This is why Vance matters," and "Finally, someone said it." But beyond the spectacle, something deeper resonated. The clash wasn't just about Obama and Trump, or even about Vance. It was about two visions of leadership, one rooted in eloquence, the other in raw connection. And for millions watching at home, especially those in struggling towns and overlooked communities, Vance's words weren't just a line in a debate. They were a validation of their lived experience. By the end of the night, the narrative had shifted. What started as Obama's stage became Vance's defining moment. Obama's criticism of Trump was powerful, but JD Vance's response, brutal in its honesty and grounded in the struggles of ordinary people, hit harder. The final image was unforgettable. Obama, still composed but undeniably rattled, sitting in silence as Vance's words echoed across the nation. For many, it was the first time they had seen a young senator stand toe-to-toe with one of America's most celebrated speakers and leave him momentarily speechless. And as the credits rolled, one thing was clear. History would remember that night not as the evening Obama slammed Trump, but as the moment JD Vance's brutal line shut him down and reshaped the conversation about what leadership really means.